Hey everyone, welcome back to another mic'd up video. Um, I lost my train of thought. So, several things I want to talk about. So, I'm going to warm up while I talk about those things. But the first part, I suppose, would be a little bit of a reflection upon the block of training I just did, which was 5 weeks long. Originally, I thought it was supposed to be four, but I think I was going to make it four. But the fourth week would have been the first week of summer, which is not normally like it's a little bit hectic towards the very end of the school year, just making sure everything's done. But like that first week of summer is usually the best week of training, and it was with the app. So the beginning of the fifth week, which is the final week of the program, and like the peak is when I hit that was it 284 training total. It was ugly, but it was the best training total I've had in a little bit, especially like on the same day without straps and everything. I believe my best ever is still 292. So I think it was a 132, 160 that I did on the same day. But 132 might have been with straps, which might not count. So the program works, even though, I got sick, was going through the end of the school year and field day and all of that. The like injury that I had with that heavy clean kind of put a damper at the very end. I wasn't able to do that very last session. When I was training yesterday, I was able to snatch up. I missed 120. I hit 120. And then I tried 127. And that's when I really felt that, like on the extension. Um, it's hard to say. It's like the pull under. So I was like, I guess like the maximum force output part of the snatch, I felt it. So I didn't even really commit to the snatch. It was like boom, and then it was like, that hurt. And so as I was coming down, I just kind of threw it off. But the weights working up felt fine, so I think I should be able to train normally. I just won't be able to go too maximally, but it's already feeling better today. And it's one of those things where it will just kind of be a little bit sore and achy for a little bit, but it probably won't be a detriment to like the beginning of a training block, just because the weights are light and I'm able to down regulate. That was certainly pushing further than I would have normally when I felt like that, because it was the end of the block and I was like, time to YOLO. But I think I was in decent before I strained my hip or whatever. I think based on that Monday session, I was in decent enough shape to potentially do that 127 again and then take a crack at something a little bit heavier. Same with the clean and jerk, to do that 157 and then take a crack at something heavier. So I'm certainly like in really good shape, or at least the program peaked me really well. Even though I kind of, you know, deviated or pushed really hard in different ways, it kept me in a good direction. And I think conceptually that's good that I got to the end of the block, and that's when I hit my best lifts. And I am excited about that. So I'm going to continue with that this week, or this block is going to be, I think, 8 weeks. It's going to take me to the end of summer. It's 6 weeks of strength work, and then I think it'll be a 2 week peak. It's similar to what I think this one was 3 weeks of strength training and then a 2 week peak, or it might be a deload and then 2 weeks of a peak, something like that. But I'm really excited about that. I want to push really hard. One of the big things I'm changing in this next block is I'm keeping in a lot of the accessory work. I'll probably end up taking a lot of that out, not because I necessarily disagree with it, but my main accessory is going to be one that I'm actually not doing in the shed. I set it up um, in my bedroom of all places, but I put a bunch of athletic tape on the floor in the corner of my room so I could do handstands. The athletic tape on the floor is so I have grip, so I don't slip, because that's a little terrifying to be upside down and slip, because I'm not a gymnast. But if I do those a lot, I think that will be a really good just general accessory. But that's not fly right there. That's not one that I'm generally gonna be like tracking time and reps and sets. I'm just gonna try to do it as much as I can, because I just have all the time in the summer. So if I'm playing a video game or something, if I'm waiting for the game to start, do that for 10, 15 seconds and then go back to the game. And so really just trying to get a lot of frequency and accumulate volume through that frequency. But the proximity to where my bedroom is really nice, because if I'm in my house, it's easier. If I have to come out here to do handstands, I'm not going to do it as much. So that will be something I'm going to do a ton of. I want to really just bulletproof my shoulders, but just make them super strong, because that is where I miss a lot of snatches, where the left arm just keeps dipping down. So I'm going to hopefully have super strong shoulders. We'll see if that's actually the case. Oh, hips not feeling too bad, but the problem I had with the 172 clean that did it is when I went down on the clean, how y'all catch a clean and just go down normally, how you see in most of my videos. I was a bit wider because I had to get under the bar, and it put me in a more split spot. And when I caught it in the bottom, it was like, oh my gosh, that hurt. And then I kind of stood it up slightly just to get it off, just because I was so deep in the hole. But I think it is just a strain, because I was able to do front squats after, and I was able to front squat up to 170. So I know it's not like a super bad injury. It's just, when stuff like that happens, you're not going to be at 100%. So, stuff like that happens. But I'm going to get my shoes on, get the bar on, and then talk about the platform. That was one of the other things. So I mentioned the program overview, the handstands, those two things I want to mention. But I'm going to be doing a bit of a project in here. But we'll stop the video, get my shoes on, and get some weight on the bar and start working. Before I talk about the platform, the project with that, I'll give a little overview about what the training is going to look like today. So with the slide, I turned the slider all the way up because I want to do snatch, clean, jerk, and squat, all of that very frequently. And then if I feel bad on a certain day, just eliminate things. That's how I approached it in the last block, and I was able to peak pretty well at the end. So I'm going to continue that same kind of trajectory. I did turn up the accessories, so there'll be more of those. Like today, I have chin-ups, which I'm going to try to do some of, because I have to do it using the barbell on the rack, which is possible. It's not ideal since the bar does spin, but I don't care if I do a couple of them, because I'm sure I'll get pretty sore from doing them. But I wanted to do a different movement than what was prescribed. So wanted me to do snatch doubles. And it's one of the things I think will happen with the app. If you turn the frequency way up, it kind of gives you redundancies and exercises. It doesn't give you necessarily a good snatch workout each day, because it's trying to spread out the volume with it. So it's not really a system problem, because it recommends 4 and you put it up to 6. It's going to fill in random stuff in there. But because I have knowledge of training, I can adjust some of the things and kind of recognize, this is like tomorrow is supposed to be a heavier snatch day where I have to do a bunch of singles. Like, that's a priority day. That's an important day to not change. Today it was like 4 doubles at 96 kilos. Not an important, day to do a bunch of doubles when I can do a complex and get some value out of that. So one of the variations that you could choose, because you can swap out the exercises, was no foot, no hook, which I've been doing a lot in the last block. I didn't want to do that today because I wanted to use straps, just because, I don't know, I just wanted to use straps. But I also wanted to do no foot powers, and so I just changed that exercise to that. So it's the same percentages. I'm going to do it at 80 kilos, 4 doubles there, and they'll probably adjust up a little bit if they're feeling fine. But the reason I want to do no foot powers is to work on that extension and to work on that aggressive fixation above my head. And also powers will probably feel a little bit better, just in case there's any sort of lingering things. But like I mentioned earlier, I didn't have any sort of like sharp pain or anything until I got to like a super maximal weight. So all working up, it was just a little bit sore, which is stuff I can work through. There's then some clean jerks, which I'm going to do at 120. I think they originally said 113, but it's just 3 singles. So I'm going to keep them around there. And those I'll be a little bit more cautious of, because I haven't done those in the last couple of days, because I've been worried about keeping my hip or whatever not hurting more. And then some front squats, some clean pulls, and strict pressing. I think it was push press, but I'm going to make it strict press. I'm going to do those. Don't know how much, because I think pressing was supposed to be twice and pulls is supposed to be twice. And I turned up the pulls, I think, to 3 days a week. And then the pressing, I think I have it as 6 as well, because pressing is just going to be important. But most of the time, the app will opt to give me push press, and that's not bad. But I also don't want to do push press every single day. And strict press is a little bit easier mentally and physically to do, and it's also good for muscle building. So all that rambling aside, we'll do my first warm-up set here. I actually feel better than I did yesterday in my legs wise. I just don't have that as much energy as I had yesterday, I suppose, but it'd be like that. All right. I'm going to do doubles working up as well. I'm going to do here at 43, go up to 61, and then start at 80. At least initially, maybe not have anything on my knees, but I'll probably end up with knee wraps on just because they feel good. A little bit sore. Oh, not the best reps, but that's what happens when you're warming up. Sometimes things are a little bit sore. Nothing too bad in the hip, but just generally sore. But I think this will be a good complex or a good variation to do frequently because I haven't done it in a while, and I think it's just good for that final extension, especially when it gets to like the power and awe territory. That's when the no foots I think get a lot of the value too, because of that focusing on that leg drive. But we're gonna stop the clip here and then come back, and then I'll talk about the platform. As I think I'm gonna do this again because I'm gonna put my knee wraps on and just warm up a little bit extra. But talk about the platform now. But speaking of the platform now, I've made a couple of purchases. The rest of the purchases I have to wait till the materials get here. But I bought some rubber and some screws, and the rubber mats are like 3/4 an inch thick, so they're gonna be very dense. And the wood I'm waiting to buy because that's available whenever. What's tricky is from here to the shelf in front of me is 7 feet, and 4x8s are 8 feet. So I'll have to either cut it at the store or probably just cut it here, because I'll be able to adjust where or exactly how much width I need or how much length I need to cut off the wood. But I'm gonna put the materials on top of it, so I'm gonna follow the Catalyst Athletic method of how they did it, which is a pretty generic platform. But I'm gonna have wood at the bottom, plywood, and then MDF wood, which I guess is a different kind of wood. That's going to be stacked here with the thick rubber on the side. So I think with that elevated surface upon what I already have here, it should make it pretty level, and it should also allow me to not have the pads here, which I don't necessarily mind. Like if it's later at night, I'd probably still use them anyway, or it's nice if I'm back squatting, if I'm going to dump it off, to have it on there, just for the noise effect of it. But if I'm going heavy in the snatch or something, it's kind of nice not to have that right there. And then I could give myself more space by taking out the squat racks and putting them off to the side, but it's just really inconvenient because then I have to move all the plates, and it's easier just to have this here. But I would like to have it to where if I'm doing like a very intense session, I can just take the pads away and just give myself that little bit more mental space, because now I've lifted heavy with these pads right here, so it doesn't really get in the way or anything, but when they're there, they're there. So this is 43 again. I'm going to do another double. First 2 reps felt weird, but mostly just technically, I guess because I haven't done no foots in a week or so. Those felt fine. So we'll go up to 60 from there. But I don't know if this micro video will be the whole workout because it'll probably be like a 4-hour video. But I don't think I'm going to actually work out that long. But when I talk, I end up taking more time between sets. So I'll at least get through the snatches. We'll see how I do with the rest of the workout. But it might just be 2 separate videos with that, which I suppose is great for content. But I'm going to pause it here, go up to 61, and keep working. The other thing I forgot to mention, so not only am I going to work on the platform and kind of redoing that and improving it, hopefully, but I might take out these shelves back here. They're never close enough. I've never hit them with a weight, I don't think, that I remember. I would think it'd be pretty memorable if if a collar or something hit off here. But these are screwed in, so I might be able to take them out. Most of the stuff in here is nailed, which means I'm not going to bother trying to take it out. Like everything in front of me, that's all nailed in. But these are different. They're screwed, like these pieces are. So I might be able to take these shelves out and then have a little bit more space that way and be able to maybe move the plates that way, be able to push a squat rack off when I'm doing other training, something like that. But that's kind of like on the back burner. But the other thing is I have a bunch of linoleum pieces of wood that I want to stack up, like these ones, to kind of cover all this crap that's behind me. I had these were randomly in here before, this insulation stuff, so I just threw that up there just because it was just there, better than in there on the wall than in a roll. But I'm going to put a bunch of these pieces, at least, oh, piece of metal. Maybe move this piece of metal so I don't cut my wrist again. It's not just a little scratch, but a bunch of linoleum pieces at least there to cover that, make it look a little bit nicer, and then maybe put some over here as well to make the background look a little bit nicer. But that's just kind of like stuff I'll chip away with. The big thing is the platform, because that's going to be pretty expensive to do. The rubber is the most expensive part, but I wanted to get really thick rubber just to try to protect the floor and to make it last as long as possible. And then everything else is kind of just cosmetic at that point. Platform will be nice to have, but the 61 here. So we're going to do another double here before we get into our working sets. It's really just focusing on that turnover. Easy peasy. Nothing hurts too bad, which is good. So go up to 80, start working. The first working set with 80. I'm going to try, as I catch the power, to hold it there for a second or two to really focus on that fixation above my head. And really just do some easy doubles. It's definitely a challenging movement, but I could feel like the first one was a little bit ahead and was able to adjust it for the second one. So it's definitely good. Next set will probably keep me there at the same, but just try to do a little bit better. Nothing bothering me in the hip really too much. A little bit of soreness, but we'll live. The timing above my head felt like I was punching at the correct time. So I'm going to keep that the same. I just want to extend a little bit closer to my body to hopefully make that a little bit better. But second set here, same with still 80. Second rep is a lot better than the first. Still feeling pretty easy. Nothing bothering too much with there. Next set, we'll probably have to go up. So I'll go up to 85 and see how that feels. Maybe try 90. I put my increase up to 83, so naturally I just went to 85 because why would I go to 83? So another double here. Make sure I get the first rep back into a good spot. Not too bad. Much better than the last set. Oh. Whew. I don't know if I want to go up or not. I probably will because I'm a maniac, but that was better than the last one, so that was good. So as you probably noticed, I went up to 90. On that last one, when I look back at it, I noticed my feet slid back a little bit. But for me, when I'm doing no foot, if my feet slide back a little bit, I still consider that as a no foot because they aren't moving out or they aren't lifting off the ground. The concept of what you're working on is still the same. So I'm not going to stress about that. I'm obviously trying not to move my feet, but if they slide a little bit, it is what it is. So this is 90. This will be the last set of snatches. So hopefully make them look like that last set. That was definitely a challenging weight, much harder than the 85. So on the other ones, I was putting 3 white lights. Now I'm going to put 2 to 1 because I still caught it pretty well. And it was relatively easy in the sense that I wasn't like freaking out to do it. So it felt heavy though. So I think the 2 to 1. I'm going to try to be more honest with those numbers unless I'm really trying to push heavy. But that was a good snatch workout. And I think this video is probably long enough, and I talked about a lot in it, so I think I'm going to stop it here, and then the rest of it will be a separate video. So it'll be 2 parts, but that was the snatch part, and talk about the overview of the program, platform, and all of that, and thankfully some good snatch work, which is always nice to do. But with that being said, that's the end of this Mic That video. I'll catch you all in the next one, and I hope you all have a great day. All right, so I lied. The last clip is not. I'm going to do the clay jerks now because that was the other thing I forgot to talk about was because I have all the sliders turned up, I'm going to have a very high frequency of all the different movements. And because of that, I want to start doing more 2 sessions and not necessarily so I can do that much more, but so I can not do a 3-hour session. I can do 2-hour long sessions because I'll be able to focus more on, all right, let's get these 2 exercises done, then go in, be done with it until the next one. So I'm going to do the clean and jerks here. Like I mentioned earlier, they're just up to 120. I'm going to see how the hip feels with them. But then when I come back out, I'll do the squats and the pulls and the presses and the chin ups and the rest of that stuff, because the strength work will go, it takes less focus to do that. So I'll be able to hammer that out. Plus, it's just faster to do in general because, you know, it's light. At least right now, it's pretty light for the front squats and stuff. But um, splitting up these sessions, I think, will make it a little bit more efficient, and I'll be able to recover a little bit more. And I'm not trying to do a marathon every time I train. So we're going to do the clean jerks here. I'm going to do 61, I guess this is, and then go up to 102 and then 120 and see how the hip feels. But it's just 3 singles, so I should be all right. But I'm going to set the mic off to the side just to make sure that I don't catch it when I'm racking the bar on my chest. Nothing too bad. Most of the issue I felt was in the jerk, actually dipping down, but nothing that was very similar to how I felt in the snatches, where it wasn't too bad. Know if I was going to do like 150 today, that it would probably be uncomfortable, but I should be okay for 120. Shouldn't be too bad, but if it feels bad, then we'll cut it off there. But I think I'll be all right. So we'll get 102 on there and keep working. I'm going to try to do nothing without the wrist stuff on because my wrist had actually been feeling pretty good. So positive at that. Not a ton of shoulder pain, and wrists are feeling good. So I guess when you have pain in other areas, it hides the pain that you have in others. So it's a win is a win, I suppose. But we'll get 102 on there. For the snatches, I made them powers to not, I guess, more so to focus on the extension of the snatch. The no foot powers are good for that. But it's also nice because it took a little bit of pressure off my hip. Feeling like I'm talking in circles a little bit. But I did the powers for there for more of a technical reason. I don't want to do powers here because I kind of want to feel out that full position to make sure everything's feeling all right. If it starts to get a little too achy, then I'll just do power cleans and go from there. But it should be okay. It's just 102, so I should be able to hit it and hopefully make it look easy without too much pain. I guess that's always cool, right? Progressively more achy, but just like how I said with the 61, and I'll say it the 102, should be able to do the 120. If it feels the same as this, then it'll be fine. It's not getting worse. It's just kind of consistent. More sore than pain, which is good. Nothing sharp or anything, which is always an indicator for me to not do the lift. If it's just like that kind of hurts, I usually push through just about anything. But if there's any sort of like giving out or like shooting pain, then that's a good indicator to stop. But go up to 120, do 3 singles there, and be done with the first session. Then come back probably 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock tonight and do strength work. Right now it's about 20 till 4, and should be done here pretty quick. The original prescribed weights was 113, but we'll just do 120. Should be all right. I'll have 2 sets here. The last one, if everything goes all right, I'll push up to probably like 125. But we'll see. These have to feel good pain-wise because they'll feel fine strength-wise because it's not very heavy. So we'll get it done. I actually didn't feel too bad, but I don't know if you see in the video, there's a damn fly that is like in front of my face. I kept waiting for it to bang off my head while I was setting up for the jerk, but everything felt fine. I actually wrist, felt that slightly now, but like it's feeling good. So I don't want to go back to the wraps if I don't need them. But I'll do the second set there. Everything felt the same as 102 pain-wise. So we'll just keep working, and hopefully that fly leaves me alone and stops harassing me. I'm blind, so I can't even see it right now, but hopefully we'll be all right. No sign of the fly, so I should be all right. But we're going to do this 120 again, and then see maybe going up to 125. We'll see. Nothing too bad, so we'll go up to 125 and be done with the first session here. Nothing's getting worse, which is good. The pain is consistent, which means that it is recovering. Obviously, best way to recover is to not do anything, but I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to be doing something. So it's not getting worse. So that means hopefully it's getting a little bit better. So this will be the last lift of my first session. The next video you see will just be the second half that I'll do later tonight. So I don't know if I'll do this every day for the sessions, but I certainly think it'll be good to do a couple times a week at a minimum, but kind of depends on what the workouts look like. If I have really light squats or something that I can just do, it's going to be easier just to do it within the workout. But, you know, if it's like today where I want to give myself more space for my hip and whatnot, then it might be a little bit better, but play it by feel. So it won't be an everyday occurrence probably, but it's only something that I could ever do in the summer too. So kind of want to take advantage of that. But all right, let's get it. A little bit difficult, but got it done. Didn't have to double bounce or anything crazy like that, but good couple reps. Didn't make anything worse, which is good. But this will truly be the end of the Mike That video. Next video you see will be the second half of this workout, but good productive session. Hit didn't get too much worse, or didn't get any worse, I should say. So hopefully just keep building and just get stronger. A lot of work to come. Journey to 140, 170 is afoot. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but those are some heavy weights, so I'll have to work quite hard to get that. But with that being said, that's it for this one. Talk to you all the next one. Peace.